guys, welcome back to the Kind of an Expert podcast, the only podcast where the guest picks the topic of every single episode. My name is Corey Tyndall, and I'm your host. And this week, I sat down with New York City comedian Joey Rinaldi for his second time on the podcast to talk about making friends. If you remember Joey from the first episode, you know he's a very friendly guy. And so we talk about all the different ways to make friends at bars, at, shows, at any place where you might be running into people, especially while traveling. That was kind of the start of this, is like, how do you make friends while you're on the road and by yourself? So I think everybody's going to be able to relate to this, and hopefully you learn some good new tips. You can follow him at @TheJoeyRinaldi on Instagram and check out his show in New York City called Bad Trip. It's in a different location every time, so follow him on Instagram to get that location. And follow me at Corey T Comedy on all social media. If you're in New York City, come to a comedy show every single week at Ferns in the East Village. With that, let's get into the episode.
Let's say like this. Let's say if a friend or like a girl I'm casually seeing like brings me like a +1 to like a wedding or like an event where you need a +1. Sometimes at like an event like that, I'll be hesitant to be comedian Joey because I'm like, I don't know these people. I don't want the 20, 30 questions that follows that. So I'll just say, I work in sales, and I just shut my mouth. Even though I've never worked in sales a day in my life.
Okay. So you do hesitate sometimes.
Yeah, but I definitely less often than you. I feel like I'm like 90% of the time I'm just going for comedy.
I'm never telling a waitress that I do stand-up comedy like
you did
waitress,
in
you got
you
really?
Yeah.
I mean...
They're in the service industry.
They are.
They meet off all types of folks. You tell them you're a comedian. Next thing you know, she's like, you'll never get this, but Jim Carrey was here last night. I slept with him. What are you going to do? And he was saying he needs a balding Italian guy in his next movie. And now I'm co-starring a movie with Jim Carrey because I was nice to a cocktail. I don't know why I said I don't know what a cocktail waitress is. A waitress.
It's a waitress who brings cocktails.
Yeah, is that what it is? Yeah.
Oh, it's like a cocktail is like a fancy bar.
It was a strictly shrimp cocktail is what I'm thinking.
There you go. Yeah.
That's for one job. Get the shrimp out.
Oh, man. But you were saying right before, and I was like, no, let's save it for the podcast. You're recently single.
Yes.
Do you find it easier or harder to make friends on the road when you've got your significant other with you versus when you don't have that person with you?
So I think I'm the wrong person to ask because I'm invincible. I can make friends in any situation. It's fucked up.
No, that's why you're the perfect person to ask.
So it's different. It's different because when I have brought my girlfriend on the road with me before, or my ex-girlfriend. It's weird saying girlfriend. My ex and I would bring her on the road. Like we did I did a residency at this theater in Kansas City for like a week, and she was there with me the whole time.
That's awesome.
And you make a lot of friends that way by simply just going around being like,
who wants to fuck?
No, like you're just like, I'm a comedian, and she'll come in and be like, and I'm just here for the ride, and then everyone wants to hear like that. So like, so what do you do? And like, and like, it's the experience of like getting to know the couple,
right?
And for instance, like any other person who has a girlfriend or a significant other that you meet on the road is now wants to indulge all their stories. Like I remember like we had like some comic in Kansas City. I was like, oh, she's on the road with me, and he goes, I want my girlfriend to come on the road with me, and then boom, now we're talking about his dumb girlfriend for like a half hour.
Yeah, right.
So like you almost become like the relationship guru,
right?
By proxy, if that makes sense.
I feel like there's also like, I'm more comfortable meeting new people if I've got my significant other with me, not because of anything that they are going to say or do. I feel like it just makes me seem less creepy. Like single dude sitting by himself, like going up to anyone is like, all right, what does he want? What is this? But if you have the girlfriend with you, it kind of shows him like, oh, you're not insane. You have a girlfriend. Like someone else vouches for him by just being next to him. I'm overthinking it for sure.
But I find it, no, you're not overthinking it. I'm overthinking it because I'm thinking the opposite, where I feel like my opportunity... And by opportunity, that the sky's the limit when you're by yourself. When you're alone in a city and you don't have your significant other, anything could happen. Like I was just in Tampa, and this could never happen if I had a girlfriend, or let alone my girlfriend being with me. There was these two. God, I fucking hate that I can't remember their names right now. Wait. If I try my best, I can remember. They were the two sweetest girls. They know who they are if they listen to this podcast. They basically are like fans of like Jared Waters and like Troy Bond and like a few other like New York based comics.
Former podcast guest Jared Waters.
Oh hell yeah. So anyways, I'm in Tampa posting on my story. They're like, oh, I'm in Tampa doing comedy. They come to my comedy show. They go, we know you from Troy's podcast. You had a show with Jared Waters once. Like they knew like things about me that I didn't even know about.
Well, you got fans.
Well, no, fans by like association. They're Troy and Jared's fans.
You're a fan if they know who you are and they came to the show. That's a fan, you know.
I mean, they actually brought Joey Rinaldi posters that I signed for them, so that was kind of cool. So yeah, they're fans. Yeah. But like the thing is, like they were like, what are you? They were like, what are you doing right now? I'm like, oh, well, I actually have another show like on a half hour other part of town next. And they were like, we'll drive you. Now I'm in this car with these girls. They're hilarious. They're telling me stories. I'm giving them like relationship advice.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know, like 21. So I like just being like 27, I have like some wisdom to shed on them.
You're the old village elder at this point.
Yeah. I'm like giving them advice. Then we get to the club. I walk into this comedy club I've never been before, looking like a guy with an entourage. I had these like two younger girls with me. I'm like, I'm here for my spot and I'm from New York, motherfucker. Like, it's so fun. And now like the comedians who typically like I guess wouldn't like be so nice to the new guy in town.
Sure.
They see two hot girls. They're like now they're like all like rubbing up at
them. They're like, is he paying for him? Isn't he paying for them? How will we know? We have to be friends with him. Either he's rich or he's cool.
Yeah, it was great. And then like this is so funny. Like there was this really attractive audience member at the comedy club that they drove me to, and we got to talking. So when the show ended, these two like sweet girls are like, so you said your hotel's like a half hour away. That's kind of on the way to where we're going. So we can drive you back to your hotel if you want. And I felt like I broke their hearts. I was like, ladies, I'm staying here for a while. Because boom, I'm like a hermit crab. I just kept on shedding. Like I kept on like shedding one person.
You were like, no, I found a better one.
And it's so fucked up because so that girl so basically the way this worked is that my solo show was at 7 p.m. The comedy club show was at 9 p.m. So I did my solo show, right to the 9 p.m. show, and then there was this like burlesque show that I agreed to do, but this really hot girl was there, and she was like, no, hang out with me on this part of town. And then the owner was like, there's an 11 p.m. You want to jump on the 11 p.m. So it's like if I do the 11 p.m., I'm definitely not going to make the burlesque show.
No.
And if I make the burlesque show, I'm definitely not going to hang out with this hot girl. So I'm like, I'm going to do the 11 p.m. show at the comedy club.
The 11 p.m. Hang out with the hot girl. Yep.
I'm not doing the burlesque show. But the thing is,
were you going to do burlesque?
No. Well, is burlesque is cabaret? Which one? Cabaret?
Burlesque is like a lot of like nudity and like
it was like a variety show.
Showing your tits.
It was a variety show where there was like comedy, burlesque.
Okay, so it's like variety, cabaret variety.
But like I had to my jokes. They said it had to be sexual because like it was a sexual show.
Okay.
But I got sexual jokes. It's fine.
Yeah, you got a couple.
I got a couple. But here's the thing. My buddy who was also on the road that same weekend, John Bennett, who's like this amazing Australian comic.
I know him.
Well, he's based in Portland, Oregon. He's from Australia. He does the road a lot, but I think when he does like New York, like he does like the Soho Playhouse, he doesn't really like he's not like doing the clubs really.
Yeah.
But he is also doing the burlesque show. And I text him to be like, tell them I'm not coming. But I guess he's like a fucking like prankster. Like he just loves like pranking people. So he's like telling the host of the show, Joey's here. So and they're like, we don't see him. He goes, just bring him up. And so we're like 2 or 3 different times at this show, they bring me up and I don't come on stage.
Wow.
And it's
making you look like an asshole out here.
It's only funny for John. It's only funny for John and nobody else. And so and like the part that I'm staying in is like the theater district. So like everyone in this like area, like you kind of like bump into everybody where you are. So I bump into the lady who runs the burlesque show.
Okay.
At like, I don't know, like 11 a.m. the next day. Like, I'm getting tea at a coffee shop.
Are you hungover?
A little hungover.
Yeah.
I'm definitely hungover.
You're not tip top Joey over here.
And she is just like giving it to me. She's like, we called your name 3 times. And I'm like, I texted John that I couldn't go. I was doing the 11 p.m. show at the club on the other side of Tampa. And she's like, John said you were in the room. I'm like,
God damn it.
And I find him. I'm like, what the fuck happened? He goes, wasn't that kind of funny? I'm like, for who? And he was like, for me.
Him, yeah.
And it's funny. It's talk about first circle. He was a friend I made in Kansas City. So you see, and now we're in Tampa together.
In retrospect, is it funny that he did that, or are you still mad at him?
No, I don't care because, like, it's so fucked up.
Oh, you're never doing a spot there, but...
It's so fucked up how I view the world because like, I'm a whore for spots.
Okay.
But like if it's a comedy booker, comedy related show, I'm there on time. I have to be there. Like
Sure.
I'm not fucking around. But any of these like variety theater, like offshoot shows that may let comedy come on, I'm like, it's not gonna help my career too much.
No,
it's just for
they
the love
can
of
be
the
weird.
game.
Yeah, they can
Yes.
be weird. Nobody's there to see comics or like find comics or anything like that.
No. They're there to
I don't
find
blame
titties,
you.
I think.
Yes, a lot of titties. Which like you got a lot of great features, Joey, but your titties
No,
are
my
not,
tits
are
are not
not
good.
one of them.
I have nothing to show. I don't have like a nice calf to show or anything.
You were gonna pull up a little leg,
I pull
just show them a little
leg.
ankle
Why
there.
not?
Come on,
Why not?
They want to see it. The masses want to see it, Joey. So that's shows. I feel like it's easier to make friends on shows or near shows than it is on vacation, right? Because like when you go on stage, people kind of see you. They come up to you. They want to be friends with you, like those two fans, and then that other person who saw you there. How do you make friends on vacation? Because I've gone on a couple of vacations by myself, and it's like I'll hit up the apps. Like Tinder, which I have a story for as well, but I'll let you.
I want to hear that story, but
but yeah, I'll let you go first.
You have to understand who I am now. You first have to understand where it all started.
Sure.
I'm in a family. I have 4 siblings, so I have 2 older brothers. One's 4 years older than me. One's 5 years older than me.
Okay.
I have a sister who's 1 year older than me, and I have a little sister, but she's not. She's irrelevant for this story right now.
Way younger.
She's 6 years younger than me, so
okay.
she's irrelevant for what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
My family would go on family vacations, like, like once a season, like
Sure.
wintertime we go on a ski trip, summertime we go to like either like
The
something
beach.
like the beach or like
yeah.
something like Disney or like something along that lines, maybe like Hershey Park. And so when I'm 5 years younger than my brother, so when they're like getting horny, I'm talking about like 11 years old. When they're 11 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old, like the beginning of them being like horny-minded people.
Yeah.
When you're 13, what's 5 years younger? I'm 8.
8.
So I guess I'm still like kind of cute, and I also look younger.
Yeah.
Like I did not
8, 9 years old is pretty innocent.
I did not develop puberty for a while.
Okay.
So I was still cute enough where I was like cute looking, and so my brothers used me like a fucking bait in fishing. I have these terrifying memories where like we'd be like, how like hotels have like family hotels have like that shitty pool that like it's like parents are like there's nowhere to hide. It's like everyone's looking at each other. So there'd be like a hot like 13-year-old girl. Wait, by the way, I'm 9 years old saying this. I'm not 27-year-old Joey doesn't think anyone's hot at under 18. So, but I'm like. But I'd be intimidated. I'd be like 18 years. I'd be like 8 years old, 7 years old, 9 years old, and they'd be like an attractive, like older girl, fucking like suntanning, next to her mom and dad, nonetheless. And I don't know.
They're like send Joey in.
They'd be like,
just do a little dance or something.
They'd be like, talk to her. I'm like, what do you mean talk to her? Like, ooh, she has Twilight book next to her.
Yeah.
Tell her how much you love vampires. I'm like. Okay, and like,
what is that gonna do for them?
And like, I'm gonna tell you, and, like,
Okay.
I don't like when you're that age, you don't have alcohol to like loosen you up. You're going in like so fucking cold.
You slug down the
like,
juice box and
I remember like doing this thing where I would like almost like lap her like once or twice, and like the third time my brother would be like, just fucking do it already, you pussy, you're failing. And so what happened is I would go over and be like, hey, this is so random, but like, are you reading Twilight right now? Because I like love vampires. Like, do you like vampires? And then sure enough, that's when my brother would come in. Joey, leave her alone. And then the second they say leave her alone, they have it in. They're fucking reprimanding. And then she'd be like, no, he's fine. He's kind of cute. And he goes, well, everyone loves Joey. And I'm like, what? I like didn't understand what was happening, but I knew it was working.
Right.
And I also like loved the idea that it was like working. So like it like fed my ego.
Sure.
So then like the next family vacation we go, I'm like, who's next? Like point them out. And then like the fucked up part is I remember like when it got to like 12 years old and I was like 12 and like my brother was like
the fucked up parts you still do it.
when I'm like 12 and like my brother's like 16. We're looking for like sister tandems now.
Okay.
And, like,
wow.
And like, like we were like, if there was like two sisters, same age range as us, I felt terrible for them because we were harassing them the whole vacation.
Oh man.
We like anytime they were at the pool, we were there. Anytime they were at like the arcade in the hotel, we're in the arcade at the hotel.
Yep.
They had nowhere to hide. So So yeah, to answer your question, I can go on a trip by myself and make friends outside the context of comedy.
Wow.
It's just because
So you're just going up to them. That terrifies so many people. You just walking up to someone, just getting a quick read on like something they like. Like what's the move here?
Let me think about it. I don't know.
Like let's say you're going to like London, so there's no language barrier. Hot girl at the bar, sitting by herself.
That's easy, bro. What are you talking about? I know. I actually I did this before. I studied abroad in London. Okay. And I remember like the kids I went abroad with, like not like fucking chill. Like I mean, like they were like okay. So like, I would like go out to meet people by myself sometimes. And I remember I'd be like, okay, there's a big soccer game today. I'm gonna go to one of the football pubs. I'm gonna just sit there. First attractive woman I see. What's going on? I'm American. What's happening? Boom. It's the easiest thing ever. Like now this girl's like feels like it's her obligation. It's her civic duty to explain to me the game. Even though I went on Google, I read all about it. I know exactly what's happening.
Exactly.
But I fucking
you slow roll the information to them.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's easy, man. It's great actually.
But that's my point is like you found something that they like or you know something that and you're using that as an it.
Yeah.
But it's like a cultural thing.
Or like I always go to like we talked about this in the last time I was on this podcast. I love live music.
Yeah.
I often will just find a live music bar. And once you're in a live music bar, you don't need to be with a group at that point because you're dancing and what happens in the dance like that's crazy. Like who knows, you know?
Right.
And the fucking band's starting to play Hey Jude. Everyone's going nah, 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 nah. And now you're next to a girl. You're both yelling that in each other's faces.
Right.
And then you go, you want a beer? I'm gonna grab a beer. You want a beer?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, now you're getting a beer together. You barely know the girl, and now you're. Well, I keep on talking about like hitting on girls. I make
girls, guys. Yeah, no.
I make friends outside.
Yes.
In Edinburgh. So I did comedy in Edinburgh for a month.
The Fringe Festival.
And it's so bad. You're supposed to like go to the Fringe and like network and come back like with like a whole show. Like there's a few people that I was there with, like Kylie Vincent. She came back like with an agent, touring like the whole enchilada.
That's great.
And I came back. I met like some dude who was just there on vacation, didn't even know what the Edinburgh Fringe was, and he happens to be like a huge classic rock nerd. And I was like, I like classic rock, and I was like, I'll get you a fucking a free ticket to my show. I'm trying to make money out there. I'm giving free tickets away because some guy likes the Beatles, and then like we ended up going to like a fucking like James Taylor cover band. I'm in Edinburgh trying to like get cultured, like see something different.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm just seeing a cover band of James Taylor, which I could have easily done.
Right. Anywhere. With just some random guy who cannot help you.
But he was the sweetest guy. He turned me on to a lot of good music documentaries I never heard of before.
Okay.
And like I did not meet that guy in the context of comedy. Like I was there doing comedy, but I just met him at a music bar.
Yeah. Well, shit. I feel like concerts I have no problem talking to people. And you know what's interesting is most people talk to me. It's weird. I'm very like I stick out at a concert because I'm tall. So I think people they kind of like they see me being tall and they're like I'm going to talk to the tall guy probably so I don't walk in front of them. But it's like at a concert you can like look at the person next to you and just be like, "Oh, love this song. This is my favorite one." Or something like that seems easy to me. Bar or something like that, my instinct with men or women is like they're here doing their own thing. Like they didn't, especially if they're alone. It's like if they wanted to be with people, they would have brought someone with them type deal, which I know is the wrong attitude because people are way nicer than that whenever you go to actually talk to them. But that's what's going through my head. That's my first instinct.
Well, I'll ask you a question.
Yeah.
Have you ever been approached at a bar before by guy or girl, just people?
Yeah.
And what are you typically doing when they approach you?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Just standing there.
I'm telling you, for people seeking friends, by you being just there, you are now allowing yourself to be like the person being seeked, if you will. So like, I just gave this advice to a friend recently. I have a buddy who just got out of a relationship, and he just moved for work to like a new city that he doesn't know anybody in. And he was like freaking out. He goes, I don't know what to do. I'm newly single. I don't have friends, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you fucking like to do? And he was like, I like hockey. I'm like, what you do is, do you like wings? He goes, I love wings. Find a sports bar that's playing hockey that has wings. And this is, I've done this before. It's amazing.
Yeah.
If you're at a bar eating wings by yourself, I swear to God, somebody will come up to you and be like, you just watching this game by yourself? And you're like, yeah. Oh man, what's up? I love this team. People just fucking talk to you.
Yeah.
You become the person that I typically approach. Like, because think about it. You ask how I make friends. Mm-hmm. I know a lonely person. And not like lonely, like, oh, that person's sad, lonely. I'm like, that person definitely has something to say. And I do it all the time. Like, I just spot a Broadway comedy club a few months ago.
Sure.
And I got there like too early for my spot. And there was a basketball game on, so I'm like, I'm gonna fucking go to a bar, watch like 30 minutes of a game, and then go to my spot. I was there by myself. I saw this dude by himself, and he was intensely watching the game. Next thing I know, we're fucking having the most intellectual basketball conversation ever.
Next thing you know, that was Bill Simmons, and and you're now on the BS pod, and
I was at Shakey's.
Shakey's, yeah, exactly.
I was at Shakey's. It was the day they always go, and it just was coincidence that I was there.
Yeah, right. Like, oh man, I mean, you're right. You're 100% right. It's so like
people want to talk.
They do, and
that's why people talk to you about. That's why I bet people approach you, because you stick out. And you have no like negative demeanor in your body. Like you only give off positive energy.
Do I?
I wouldn't say you're like a ball of sunshine. You're not that.
Sure. Okay.
You're not like radiating a bunch. But you're but there's no negative.
Sure.
There's zero negative. So at least your base is neutral.
I say in one of my jokes that I have resting ask me for directions face.
Yeah, exactly.
That is, people, if I'm out somewhere, people are always asking me like, how do I get here? How do I get there? I'll be in cities where I'm actively lost and people will still ask me where they should go. I'm like, I have no idea. Nothing. Something about my demeanor. I think it's the height. I've always chalked it up to the height. As I think people think tall people know where they're going.
So you know how Molly can like dehydrate you?
Yes.
I was at a concert once, and I'm on Molly, and I literally feel like if I don't have a sip of water, I will die. And I went up to this like tall lumberjack looking guy, very Corey Tyndall energy, you know.
Great.
I literally just like handed him like my cash. I was like, water. And he was like, what, dude? Like, what are you saying? And I'm like, please, just keep the change. I need water. I'm dehydrated. Just
was
help
there not
me.
like a bar right behind you guys? Like,
no, dude. I was like, you don't understand. I was like, I thought I was going to faint. Like, I was like, that's where I was at life.
Oh, God.
And this guy was like, yeah. Okay, and he got his girlfriend. His girlfriend like sat next to him. He goes, "Just watch this guy for a second. I got something to do." And there's not a doubt in my mind that if I didn't know you and I saw you and your girlfriend at a concert, I would find you in the lineup, like out of the crowd of people. And I know you'd probably have the same reaction. Can you just watch this fucking asshole for 1 second? I just like this is now my like my quest. Like you.
Yeah. No, it happens a lot. Literally a couple days ago, I was at the Grizzly Pear. I was hosting a show. So I think part of the reason that this girl came up to me was because I was hosting the show that she was watching. So it's kind of like, all right, he's in charge of the show, which means I can ask him a question. But she lost her phone. And it's just like, she was like, I left it in the bathroom, which, like, for people that haven't been to the Grizzly Pear, like, don't leave anything in the fucking bathroom.
Oh, no. Wait, was this Greenwich Village, or was this?
Yeah, Greenwich Village.
Oh, my God.
The new one's nice. You might get that back in the new one. The Greenwich Village one, good God, that's gone so fast.
Yeah. You're lucky if there's toilet paper in those bathrooms.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So I'm like, all right, I'll go ask the bartender or whatever. I go ask her. I'd look around for a second, and I just come back, and I was like, yeah, she hasn't seen booking it, but like you're welcome to ask these two bartenders, and like I don't know if we see something, we'll let you know. But like good luck. It just felt like a very normal conversation to me, but another comic saw it and came over to me and was like, "You were so nice and reassuring to her," and I was like, was I? She was like, yeah, I feel like most comics would have just like brushed her off. I'm like, why? She lost her phone. Like I'd be freaking out if I lost my phone in a place like this too. So I don't know. Maybe I'm special, Joey. This is what I'm like. Maybe
no,
I think there is something about like just my general demeanor.
I'm saying like you have gravitational pull for whatever reason.
Okay.
And like it or not, I feel like half the time you hate it or more than half the time you hate it.
No. I don't hate it necessarily.
Are you learning to accept it and learning that this is your weird, this is the gift God bestowed on you? And
no, I don't hate it necessarily. I can get overstressed if I feel like I have to help too many people, but I'm better at managing that at this point. You know, being able to prioritize, right? Because the downside of what happened is that I forgot to turn the light off after I brought a guy up because I was helping that girl, and it like. In the past, that would have, well, you know, he couldn't tell when to get off, and so I just had to flash him with the phone. He did like 2 extra minutes.
What are you gonna do?
Totally fine, right? In the past, I would have been freaking out the whole time, and like, man, I had this girl, I had to help her, and I like couldn't get this, and like all this other stuff. And now that I'm older, and it's happening, that kind of stuff happens more often. I'm just like, afterwards, I was like, yep, sorry, man, I was helping some girl find her phone, couldn't find it, and he's like, it's all good. It's like people are more forgiving than people think they are. You
reminded me of something just now that something I've been thinking about recently. You said you were like less anxious, and like now that you're older, you were able to like not anxiously handle the situation. I've noticed that like externally, I am so much less anxious, but I feel like I'm still the same amount of I still have the same amount of anxiety I've always had. But when I was younger, it was external, not internal. And now it's all internal.
You're keeping it in.
It's all internal now. And now, so like I have so much going on in my life right now in my head that I have nothing. Like I have. All I can be is calm now to people because I'm like,
sure.
Oh yeah, whatever, man. Like, because I can't even like open the can of worms that's happening inside me. That like now I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. Everything's cool. Whatever. Be happy. Because I don't have the time to give out any more energy than what's happening inside my own head.
I've had that theory forever. I am 100%. I feel like people like me more when I'm exhausted. And I think it's because I'm too tired to be anxious or weird. I'm just way more chill. And it's not because I'm a chill person. It's because I'm so tired and I have so much else going on. They're like, oh, that guy's fucking cool. He only says a few words at a time. It's like, no.
Dude, well, you know me. I'm like a talker, an energetic, loud person.
You are, yeah.
And so, like...
Speaking of having gravity, I look over at you at a show, you got like 4 people that you're talking to at the same time.
But like it's weird. Great example is at my little sister's graduation, and it's her day, and it's her like it's all about her. Like it's all her friends, all her whatever, and I just like was allowing myself to just take a back seat and just not be as extra as I normally am. And I was like, why the fuck can I channel this more? Life would be so much better if I just did this every fucking day.
I know,
but like,
right?
It's not like a choice I have. It's just like who I am. It's just like I'll go into an event being like, just be calm today. Don't. And then next thing I know, I'm on the table dancing.
You got golden retriever energy. It's easy to fire you up.
Yeah.
I think that does help too. I think a lot of people, like. If the people are listening to this that feel like they're bad at making friends, it's not necessarily that they have like a bad vibe. I think a lot of people struggle because they just don't get as excited about things as like I'm pretty excitable. You're very excitable. Like if someone likes something that you like,
that's it. That's I'm gonna talk to that guy forever.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna get a phone like literally.
You're like, oh hell yeah, this is my night now.
If you meet me at a bar and tell me you like a band, and I'll get your number, and the next day you'll forget about me, and I'll text you like 3 articles about that band, being like, did you know this? This is crazy.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Is like my more introverted friends that could they would never make friends with a stranger in their fucking life. I don't know. I feel like it's hard to get them fired up about stuff. And maybe that's the thing. Is like they don't know what to connect on because they don't have as much that like outwardly excites them. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that doesn't make any sense. Maybe I'm a little too inward. But
no, it's I think you're not giving yourself enough credit. You keep on doing this whole like this is like your third time today being like I'm thinking too inward. Maybe I'm overthinking. It's like no, I think you are thinking about all the right stuff, and it's okay to overanalyze stuff. Overanalyzing, I think you're solving life's problems right now. So wait, I just remember I got a great story because I'm trying not to bring up comedy stories, but lately most of my traveling have been comedy. Yeah. I got a non-comedy story. I'm 17 years old, and me and
10 years ago.
Wow, yeah.
11 years, okay.
Yeah, 10 years ago, okay. Wow. Feels like so long ago. Well, I guess 10 is a significant
It's a long
number.
time. It's over a third of your life. So.
Yeah, so 10 years ago, me, my brother Anthony, and my best friend from childhood, Eric, we go on a ski vacation to Aspen, Colorado.
Sure.
This was like, my brother was graduating college, me and Eric were graduating high school, so this was like a big graduation gift for like all three of us that our parents sent us on. And we like just became legalized in Colorado, and this was like the only place. Like California was not legal, I don't think yet. Like this is like brand new shit. And my brother was like, "This is like, I think like if you have to be like over 21." So my brother's the only one that can do it. And he's like, "I don't know how I feel about getting weed because it's only legal in Colorado. What if they like scan my ID and like I'm on a list and like other states think I'm a bad person because I bought weed in Colorado?" And my brother's like freaking out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, it's legal in Colorado. You're 21. Just buy the fucking weed, dude. You're being a bitch. And he's like, no, man. Like, what if I get pulled over in New York and like the cop scans my ID? It's gonna pop up that I got weed at this Aspen smoke shop. I don't like. He's like thinking about all the worst case scenarios. And then so we
sounds like he's already high.
I know. We just get off the airport. We just drop our bags off at the hotel, and like we're walking around the village of Aspen.
Sure.
And I'm like, I'm just gonna get weed. And he's like, you can't talk to strangers. And I'm like, I think I can. And I kid you not, there's a mini like chairlift that doesn't really, it's not for skiers, it's a chairlift that just takes you to like a scenic view for like pedestrians. So it's like open at nighttime because it's not meant for skiing. And I realized the guy in the booth running this chairlift is a white dude with dreadlocks down to like his knees. And I go, and I'm going to go and talk to the chairlift guy. And he goes, do not talk to that chairlift guy. I'm like, dude, I think it's going to be fine. He's white, dreadlocks down to his knees. We're in Colorado. It's going to be fine. Yeah. And he's like chasing after me. But it's almost like a Home Alone movie. I'm like throwing shit in front of him. I'm like getting my friend Eric to hold him back. And I fucking knock on the door. And the guy literally is holding a dab rig. And was like, what's up, bro? And I'm like, dude, we just got to New York. We're not 21. I don't want to think my brother's a bitch, you know? So I lie. I'm like, we're not 21. We can't buy the weed. Is there anyone who can help us out? And he was like, get in here. Now me, my brother, and my friend Eric are just in the chairlift. Like, he's fucking like letting people on. Like he's patrolling this, and he's like fucking getting a dab rig ready. He goes, yo, hit this. We're all fucking in this chairlift. We're getting high as hell. He's also like, do you guys want to buy? And I'm like, yeah, we want to buy. He goes, oh, I just thought you wanted me to smoke you up. I'm like, that's the nicest thing in the world. You're such a sweet guy. But no, we want to buy chronic, dude. And that guy fucking buys us we buy so much weed off this guy. He's like hugging us. He's like, welcome to Colorado. They had the best time ever.
This is what Republicans think everyone in Colorado is like, by the way. That is a perfect stereotype of the Coloradan.
And like my brother was just like, I'm so like he was so like beside himself. He was like, "How did you know? How did you seek that out?" Like as if I'm like some like brilliant fucking friend finder. And I'm like, he works in a chairlift. You
kind of are though. He
works in a chairlift. He works in a chairlift. Yeah. He has dreadlocks. I'm not a genius. This is the facts of life.
No, here's I think what you're not giving yourself credit for is that you have no fear of rejection.
No fear.
No fear of rejection. Because you're right. The worst thing that could have happened is he goes, nah, get the fuck out of here, kid. Like, I'm working. I'm not going to do that. You would have just walked away. And
my brother thought the worst thing was going to happen was?
He was going to call the cops.
he was gonna flag us down and like get our ski passes revoked, and like Aspen would know that we were the kids trying to buy weed
trying to buy weed in a place where weed's legal.
I know. No, my brother was like, dude, we're on a private ski mountain. We don't know what like private ski mountains have their own laws. Like, I'm like, what? There's literally a weed store in Aspen,
right.
like in the village of Aspen. I think it's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Not even that, like, I'm not saying that you don't have any, like, fear of repercussions or whatever, but just, like, social rejection. You know, like, guy at the bar eating wings that you're like, oh, he's watching sports. Like, he could be a dick and be like, yeah, hey, man, I just want to watch this by myself. Like, or, like, get out of here. The worst thing that happens is he's like, dude, get out of here. You're bugging me. And you just kind of move on with your life. I think that's what most people are scared of, right?
Yeah, that doesn't freak me out at all.
No.
I literally, like, if someone says it to me, I'm like, all right, man, have a nice day, dude. And, like, fuck it. Like, it's like his loss, dude. He just lost a good friend.
Right. I think that's not how people see it. I think they're like, oh, I lost a good friend. But if you see it as like, oh, no, they lost a good friend.
Oh, no,
it's the internal self-confidence that you have that I think you're not giving yourself enough credit for when you meet these people. So I say that because the way that I tried to make friends when I was in London, because I was in London for like 10 days by myself. What were you doing there? I had a few friends that were there, but it was one of those like, we're going to get dinner. So I was there for 10 days, but
no one was babysitting you.
No. It was like 3 days I was with people, and then the other 7 I was by myself.
Wasn't the apps hard in London?
Not really. I was pretty open with like what I was doing. I put right on there, hey, American, I'm here for 10 days, just kind of looking to like go out and hang out. I was 23.
You know what? Maybe because I was studying abroad as a student. Maybe it's like not. It wasn't like hip with the college kids yet.
Oh, mate.
Because I got no I thought like those apps didn't even work. Like it was so bad that I actually had to like go on like Google and be like, what are the dating apps in London? And they were like Tinder and Hinge, you idiot, or Bumble. I'm like, oh yeah. Like I'm like, oh, then it's just me that sucks. Then I'm the asshole.
I don't know. I mean, it is. I guess it was a little different, but where I went to college, there was nobody on dating apps either. So it was kind of maybe I didn't notice that it was bad, but I connected with 1 or 2 people, but I think it's that like Tinder allows you, and I think this happens with dating too. It allows you to get past the rejection phase without actually like having to put anything on the line.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I was in London, I was like, oh no, let me swipe on these people. And if they like me, that's my invitation to talk to them. That means that they're not going to automatically reject me. Or if they do automatically reject me, it's not my fault because they told me I could talk to them.
So what happened in London?
So I set up a date with this girl. But I had to, while I was in London, I was flying to... I was going to fly to Norway for like 2 days. I was going to go skiing in Norway. So I had a friend there. I was going to drop my giant suitcase off at her house. And so I was like, all right, let me drop the suitcase off at her house. I'll go get dinner with this girl. And then the next day I'm flying out to go to Norway. And I completely misjudged all the train times. So I gave her like the time that I would be there. But I was so...
late?
Hours.
No.
Like hours.
She waited?
I didn't have her number, and I was so late that I didn't go. I did go to the place. She was gone by the time I was there. The biggest issue was that because I was in London, I didn't have the money for the data, and I didn't have Wi-Fi either. And so I couldn't message her saying, hey, I'm going to be late. So I was like trying to
Wi-Fi or anything.
What?
Oh, was it the tube or was it like?
It was the tube.
Oh, so there's no Wi-Fi there.
No Wi-Fi, none. So I couldn't communicate to her, and I just stood her. I completely stood her up. Which is I still feel bad about it. No, she never messaged me. I messaged her. I was like, I feel so bad. If you got drinks or food, just like Venmo me or whatever. I left it up for like 6 hours. She didn't respond, and I was just like, I'm gonna unmatch. I felt so bad. So the one attempt that I had, I just like completely blew it because I was an idiot and had no idea how the tube worked.
Damn. That is tough.
I still have nightmares about that. I felt so guilty.
She's still there today.
Yeah, she's still at the bar waiting for me to show up.
I got stood up once. I was like flying high one time. I was another Florida story, different year, different part of Florida.
Sure.
I was in Orlando doing a bunch of comedy shows. This was like pre-pandemic. This was like my first road gig.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this is like pre-pandemic. I'm like doing a bunch of gigs in Orlando, and there's like this really cool cafe called Austin's in Orlando.
Okay.
Which is like it's like a cafe that's like themed like Austin, Texas, and they have a great comedy mic show there.
Okay.
And like I'm getting chummy with all these Orlando comics, and I'm telling them like, dude, this Tinder girl is like really hot, and like we have a date, and like everyone's like, she's so hot. Like I'm like literally like showing
Yeah.
I'm showing it to everybody, and the bar is like 2 blocks away from the cafe, and I'm like, that's the bar, we're gonna meet there, like blah blah blah. She's supposed to meet me there not like I don't know, so 9 p.m. let's say 9 p.m. So I show up like 8:50, get there early,
Sure.
get like a beer and a shot in me, so I'm like loose when she gets there. And it's NFL preseason, I remember.
Okay.
And I'm an Eagles fan. They have like an Eagles game on. And I'm like, what? I'm just watching Eagles preseason, like intensely, just being like, yeah, this is great. If she's a little bit late, it's fine. She's not responding to my messages. But like the last thing she said is like, I'm on my way. I'll see you soon. I'm like, so like I got the confirmation that she's on her way. I watched the first quarter. I watched the second quarter. It's now like almost the fourth quarter. She's not coming. I'm getting no messages.
You're making me feel worse about me doing this to someone else.
And then I go back to, because it's like one of those like mics, like like those mics that like are all night long.
Yeah.
I go back to the mic. Oh, this is what it was. It was one of those all night mics where it's a lottery. And I remember I was like, I'm gonna try to perform before my date happens. If my date doesn't happen, I'll just leave. So I leave. I literally come back as they call my name.
Wow.
And I just told like 20 people, I'm leaving, have this hot girl date. And so like literally I'm just on the mic just being like, she stood me up. She was out of my league. You all knew she was out of my league. It wasn't going to happen. Like,
oh, that's perfect. I was going to ask, did you tell everyone what happened, or did you straight up lie? You're like, yeah, we already had sex. She had to go.
No, I told everybody. I was embarrassed.
It is embarrassing getting stood up, and I don't know why. It is because it's kind of rejection, right? Like you are being rejected, but it's not your fault. Who
knows what the other person is? Maybe the other person's having an anxiety attack. I can't fucking go to a bar right now.
Yeah, right. She's probably dead. And,
I have no idea where she's at. I think
you're
about
just
her
roasting her on an open mic.
But like the part is like she like led me on a lot, because like multiple times she's like confirming the bar with me. She was like confirming the time with me. She like she made it a point to be like, I'm leaving in 5. Okay, I'm on my way now.
Oh, weird.
And
she's
then
like very attentive.
Yeah, like it's like she had got in a car accident and died. Like the last message, maybe she was texting while driving.
Maybe she was gonna rob you, and it was a catfish. And they saw you at the bar and was like, nah, he's too good of a kid. We can't do this to Joey.
Well, also like there was an Eagles game on. I'm an Eagles fan, so I was doing my classic Joey thing where I'm like, yo, second and long, I know it's crazy, but like I really think they're gonna run it actually. Like, you know what I mean? I'm fucking like,
oh, that'd be fun. She showed up to the bar and just watched you watch football for an hour and then left.
And she was like, I can't. This guy, he's that loud? I can't deal with that.
That's so funny.
He's an Eagles fan? That's a red flag.
Yeah, can't do that.
Can't do that.
Yeah. I think it gets back to the fear of rejection thing, because I know people that would devastate them. They're like, I'm never going on an app again.
Well, was that your crazy Tinder story? Because remember you said you had a Tinder story.
I didn't say it was crazy, but yeah, that was the one. It's just standard. The one time the time that I tried, I was like, I'm meeting somebody in London, goddammit, and I'm gonna go get dinner. I'm gonna have like a buddy, like see what happens, kind of like vacation fling or whatever. I totally botched it.
So I you know what? I actually shouldn't. I'm trying to I'm thinking about all my travel stories, and I just thought of a heinous one. I'm like, I can't talk about that one right now.
So when you're doing, I want to talk about Fringe. I want to ask about Fringe.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
I feel like it'd be an awesome place to make friends because you've got that that thing that you're all centered around. Is there places where the performers can hang out where you're like, because it's never been an issue for me to make friends within comedy. That's easy. There's you could always talk about the same thing with all comics. It's like, oh, this thing's bad, or did you see this video, or that sort of thing. But it's like an in that most people don't have when they, you know, people move to New York and they're like, it's so hard to make friends in New York. How did you do it? And I was like, well, I started obsessively going to the same bars and like talking to the same people all the time. So it's kind of easy for me, but most people don't have that, you know?
So your question is, was it easy to make friends at the Fringe?
Yeah, I'm trying to parse out the different places that you can make friends and the different techniques to do it.
So the Edinburgh Fringe, I wouldn't say was the easiest place to make friends, actually. But American fringes are very easy to make friends.
Oh.
Like, I did the Tampa Fringe, I've done the Kansas City Fringe, I've done the Fresno Fringe.
Okay.
I've done the Fringe.
Just high-hitting clubs over here.
Yeah, I've done the Fringe. There's a Fringe in New York called the Frigid Festival. It's the St. Mark's Comedy Club. They do like a little...
Yeah.
You know about that?
Yeah, I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, and is that the only one I've done? Maybe I've just done 4 in America, but like they're very easy to make friends and it's like really fun. Oh, I did the Boston Fringe too. So like those fringes are very simple because like they're all in the same area. It's only a couple venues. You kind of get to know everyone, and it's like you become like family halfway through. The Edinburgh Fringe is madness.
Okay.
So for listeners who don't know this, the city of Edinburgh is the way it is 11 months out of the year is not the way it is during August.
Right.
Like people leave Edinburgh. Like they'll put like a lot of people like they'll get the month off from their jobs.
Right.
And they'll make their house an Airbnb. They'll if you own a pizzeria, your pizzeria is no longer a pizza place. You're gonna close down shop and turn it into a black box theater. Like literally. Places just normal at like Mexican restaurants will stop making Mexican food and they'll buy black curtains and they'll just put black curtains on every single wall and now it's a black box theater.
Wow.
Because there's so many performers that there's not enough theaters in Edinburgh to make the venues. So like one of the best shows that I saw was like literally in a fucking diner basement that they just turned into a tiny like you know, like the tiny cupboard has like those like little rooms.
Yeah,
it's like little rooms like that all over Edinburgh, just turned into comedy clubs.
Oh, cool.
It's bizarre. Like for instance, my show was at a community rec center that like would have like I don't know like a YMCA type thing that they just turned into. So mine looked. If you went to my room, you thought I was like it looked like the pit loft basically.
Oh wow. Okay.
It looked like the pit loft.
How many people?
50 people, 50 seats.
Great.
So I say all this because it's not you don't get the city vibe. The vibe you get is people from all over the world. They're there doing a show, and every venue I explained, there's like hundreds of venues. Every venue from 12 p.m. till midnight has a show every hour on the hour.
Wow.
And the people there as audience members, they're trying to see 5 shows a day, 6 shows a day.
Wow.
And so it's kind of...
And those people are from all over, too,
all over,
right?
all over. Dude,
this is in Scotland, but it's not... It's like Europeans, Americans.
I performed to people who did not speak English. And I'm like, why did you come to this show? And they were like, it's the experience, you know? I'm like, what the fuck?
Wow. I would go see a one-man show in like Portuguese or something just to like see like how much I can pick up on it. It's like, I took a bunch of Spanish. Let's see if I can like figure it out.
A group of 12 Italian people, like I think like the mid-20s, came to my show and they were like, Rinaldi! I'm like, and literally they laughed so loud at everything I said.
Great.
And after I'm like, you weren't even laughing at jokes. Why were you laughing? They were like, it's Rinaldi. Like they were just like so happy to see an Italian in Edinburgh.
Wow.
That like I'm like, okay. So like there's so many shows that you need to bark as much as possible. So like at least for me,
Right.
I was barking like half the day.
Yeah.
You're so tired from performing.
So people understand, you do that anyway. You were telling me about a road show that you had where the day before the show you were just walking around handing out flyers for like a college thing.
Yeah. Why not?
No, I agree. I like the hustle. I'm just like I feel like you're like, you have to bark. And I was like, I think you would have barked even if you didn't have to bark. You just like standing on the street and getting people into your show. But sorry, continue.
Well, because I like making friends, first off.
Yeah.
And so I'm killing two birds with one stone. I'm promoting the show and making friends.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like most of the people I befriended in Edinburgh were people I barked in, not even performers. And so I barked people in. Then I'd be so tired, and also I'd do like 3 stand-up spots a night. So I'd do my one man. So my one man show was at 5.
Yep.
So I'd do an hour of comedy from 5 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
I would bark before from like 2 to 4. So 2 to 4, I'm barking for 2 hours straight.
Okay.
Then I do my show 5 to 6. Then I would get dinner, and then from like 8 to midnight, I'm doing like running around doing spots.
And you were just like booked on those shows? How did you meet the bookers of those shows? Or you just
there's like an online database that you can like reach out. Like it's like you find the Instagram pages, you reach out, you send them a tape.
Oh, dope.
But people need, so for the bar shows, people need comedians basically.
Yeah.
Because there's so much happening that like comedians would drop out. I dropped out last minute shows. Like so you're in Edinburgh. You're like so I would drop out of a show last minute and be like, I don't know, something better came up.
Wow.
So like you just are constantly on this move.
That sounds exhausting. So you probably did like what, 90 to 100 shows in the 1 month?
So I did my solo show 27 times.
Okay.
And then I counted it. I think it was like 90 something.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and like a 26-day span or something.
It sounds like you were too busy to make friends, honestly. Just like running around so much.
Basically, the friends I made were basically people who worked at my venue, other performers who were at my venue doing shows at my venue, because I could see shows at my venue for free.
Sure.
So I tried seeing as many shows there as possible.
Great,
So like
yeah.
I saw people in my venue, and then like the stand-up show. So I made a lot of stand-up friends, I guess, through just that world.
Okay.
But like, but also there was a lot of Americans there. So like after being dead, after performing all night, sometimes I'd just be like, Brandon Barrera, can we just grab a drink, because like I don't fucking want to use my brain right now.
Yeah.
So I'd get like drinks like Joey DeFilippe's and like
Okay.
and like in Caroline Haynes, instead of
Yeah.
like using my brain to socialize, I'm just like with a friend that I already knew.
Yeah.
And just
They're also fried.
they're also fried.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Joey and Caroline were crazy. Like they, I feel like, were on the whole time. I feel like they were like always like going out and doing things. Brandon would get burned out sometimes, but like everyone was so different. I was burnt out so much because I also did the most barking too. Like I barked like the most out of anybody, and it was embarrassing because like people would see me, they'd be like, "Why are you barking so much? You're lame." And then they would come to my show and be like, "Oh, your show's sold out." I'm like, "Yeah, I fucking this.
Yeah, right.
I did this all day." Like,
Were you making money on the show or no?
well, I print out so many flyers that like,
Oh, all right.
that like, I don't know if I made money or not. I broke even.
Sure. Okay. That is the exhaustion thing is real. That's half the battle, I think, for most people is like if I go do a road show, people always if you go to a road show and it's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, something like that, people in the audience want to hang out with you afterwards because they're just like, that's their night to go out. You were their thing. But for us, it's just like another show, you know? Like I've got one coming up this weekend.
Oh, what are you doing?
In Schenectady.
Oh, who are you opening for? Are you
Carmen.
headlining? Oh, you're opening for
opening for
yeah.
Carmen. But it's like in this old theater in Schenectady, and that's the only thing going on Saturday night in Schenectady. So what happens when we do those tiny shows is afterwards, people are coming up and they're like, they want to talk. They're like, oh, we're going to this bar. You got to come hang out at this bar or whatever. And it's like, dude, I work. And then I had to get up early so we could go rent this car. And then we just drove 3 hours. And then we just did a show. Like, she did 50 minutes. I did like 25 minutes. It's 11 p.m. We're fucking exhausted, dude. And we want to get back. But also I'm sitting there going like, man, these could be like fans. They could be friends. The FOMO is real on either side of it. Either I'm like exhausted and I go back and I feel like I'm missing out, or I'm hanging out with them, but I don't feel like I'm really bringing it. Like I'm being actually fun to hang out with.
So I got a story for you. That literally happened this past Saturday. This is a crazy story. My show.
Great. Let's end on that last story.
Bad Trip, 2-year anniversary show.
Yes, I wanted to go. Congratulations on the 2 year.
You. And congrats, you had 2 years recently too, right?
We hit a year for Hope.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Great. Look at us. We're doing the damn
you
thing.
came to mind, though. I saw your story. I was like, I can't fucking make it. I'm so bummed because you packed it out.
Your show was packed out.
Pictures later. Yeah. Your pictures looked more fun. Anyway, go on.
So this is what happened. 2-year anniversary show. We wanted something different. We didn't want to do something like at a comedy club or like a normal venue. So we found this weed store that had this like big like backyard like kind of space, and we were like, that sounds so much fun. The weed store guy was like, I'll give like pre-rolls for the first like 10 audience members who show up, so that's like a fun way to get people in the door.
Yeah.
Like it was gonna be like this cool thing. The show is Saturday. On Wednesday, he calls me, and I don't hear from him for like, I'm like the week before, I'm like trying to plan stuff. I'm like, hey, blah. He's not responding to any of my messages. I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
I mean, stoners are hard to get a hold of. What are the odds?
So I'm like, what is happening? And that Wednesday, he finally calls me up. I'm like, he's not texting me, but he's calling me now. Like, this it felt like a bad phone call. He calls me up and he goes, the store got raided.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, what's going to happen? He goes, they're shutting the store down. I'm like, this weekend or like in a few weeks? He goes, no, like yesterday.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, what am I going to do for the comedy show? He goes, tough break.
Jesus.
And like he has no sympathy for me because he's losing his business.
Right, yeah. He's like, fuck your comedy show. Are you serious? I'm going to go to jail. And
yeah, exactly. So like, I don't know what the fuck to do. We have like 30 pre-sales at this point, and like more are probably going to come in. So I'm like, what are we going to do? And my buddy Sam, who I produced the show with, just goes, I work out at an MMA gym, and we have a backyard in the back of our gym.
Oh, that's what I was seeing.
And we throw barbecues there all the time. Do you just want to like have like a barbecue type comedy show in the backyard of an MMA gym? And I was like, there's no way to, like, I hit up like Pine Box, I hit up like QED, I hit up like all these like venues at the last second.
They're all booked.
And they were all like, it's Wednesday. You want to do a show at a comedy venue on a Saturday? Like, no, asshole.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, we're doing it at the MMA gym. And dude, it was like the best case scenario. It worked out better than anything we could have done. Like, it was like this really cool vibe. It was like one of those like courtyards that was like a semicircle.
Yeah.
So where all the seats was directed right at where we were going to perform.
Right.
So it looked like an amphitheater.
It looked awesome. I was like, you had like bleachers in there? I was like, this is so cool.
Bingo. That's exactly how it felt. And so like Amy Cardinelli came and she's like,
great. She was just on this podcast.
Oh, hell yeah. And she was just like, this is the best venue I've seen for a summer show. I'm like,
you got to run shows there more often.
Yeah, that's what she was. She was like, you got to do shows here all the time. I'm like, maybe. Like, I would love to. I don't know if that's a possibility, but let's do it. And so basically though, so this is the crazy story part. It's a gym, like, so the whole backyard has like tires, weights, fucking like shit. I don't even know, like punching bags. So me and my boy, we have to get there at like, shows at 7. We get there like 3:30. We're just fucking moving, fucking like weights around. I am sweating. The show finally starts. I'm fucking have to like navigate. It's like in a hard location. I'm like navigating everybody in there. There's also like a weird gate. So like to get to the stage, you have to like hop over like a fence kind of to get on and off stage. Okay. And I'm hosting, so I'm like hopping on and off stage. Maybe not the best venue. Well, it is and it isn't.
A lot of work.
For me, it was a lot of work, but for the audience, it was amazing. Okay. So like, I'm running around, and by the time, and I'm hosting, so by the time the show ends, I am so just over the whole night. And at an anniversary show, you have to like go out and drink with your friends and family who came. So now I'm like passing out at the bar. I feel like my eyes like going back in my head, and I'm like, I just want to go to bed. Yeah, right. I stayed out till like 2 a.m. Oh, I was. You pissed. Just gotta power through, and it ruins your next 2 weeks. You're just you're still catching up from it. Well, I don't know if this helped anyone make friends on the road. It probably did. Big takeaways, confident. Right? Be confident. Don't fear rejection. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Nothing. Honestly, all the advice I gave, I think I should only give to men, Women, I don't know if you should be jumping in strangers' cars late at night.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
I don't know if you should let bartenders buy you shots. Like things that I do. I don't know if this is the best advice for our.
Be safe.
Be safe.
Get a good read. Like, make sure the person's not, creepy or weird. But then, yeah, I mean, I don't know. In that sense, I feel like women are much better at going up to men and just like talking to them.
And for the love of God, if you need weed and you see a white guy with dreadlocks, just talk to him.
He is who you think he is.
and he won't be mad if he isn't that guy either, because he understands.
He knows what you thought he was.
Yeah. Corey, thank you so much for having me over.
Yeah, where can people find you?
You can find me at the Joey Rinaldi. I'm not on the road for a while. I'm actually in New York for like most of the summer, and we got like a shit ton of bad trips lining up. And so if you like storytelling, come on down to Bad Trip Storytelling Show.
I've done it before.
Yeah,
it's
Corey's
very
done it
fun.
before. You did the Jersey show, right?
Yes.
See, we're doing it all over. We do it in Brooklyn, Manhattan, Jersey. We even do it in Boston sometimes.
Okay.
So
super fun show. It's like the person comes up to tell the story, and then you get on stage with them and like talk with them about the story, get more context.
We basically do like a mini podcast after the story.
Yeah. No, it's a ton of fun. Definitely check that out. Follow me at Corey T Comedy on all social media, and if you're in New York City, come to Ope, a comedy show every single week at Ferns in the East Village. You've done it before, although
Love it.
I was gone the time that you did it, which was very that was cold. That was a little cold. Because Jesse Townsend showed up too, and he was like, y'all were looking to hang, and I was like, oh, I'm gone. I'm not. I accidentally booked you for the show. I wasn't there
Corey
for.
Didn't just book me. He didn't just book me. He was like, can you also help Chris produce the show? So I'm there, I'm greeting people, and but you know me, I was gonna do that anyways.
No, I know.
I was like, you didn't have to ask me. I would have just me being there. I become the third producer.
Oh, it's very helpful. I appreciate it, Joey. Let's do this again soon.
Yeah, of course. Can't wait.